Back at it. Rabbit Culture here of Narcissist Ninjas, coming at you today to give you a little insight into narcissism in general. I've had some questions. I had someone asking me, am I obsessed with narcissism? I think it's a healthy obsession, and it's more of an education level, and I don't think I'm obsessed in terms, but it's a subject that I love to understand and to learn about, and I like to bring it to other people because I feel the one thing about it is that if you were exposed to narcissistic abuse as a kid, you are immediately set up into a pattern that can literally destroy your life. Whether or not you are a subject of abuse or you're overcoming a traumatic incident that involved a narcissist, or if you're setting yourself up into patterns because of your childhood, you set up a pattern in adulthood where narcissism seems appropriate and you're comfortable in it because that is what you have known as a child, and that's you develop that system of belief. So I feel it's important to understand this issue, and I know I must be on the right track because the narcissists are coming out of the woodwork already. This is a brand new situation. I'm fairly new here making these videos, and I've already had emails, dislikes, comments and questions and different things that makes me realize that there are narcissists lurking out there who definitely do not like what I'm doing. And of course, narcissists do not like to be confronted with their behavior, with the reality of who they are. And that's just the way it is. And I was, significantly warned by others who do these kinds of things that will happen if things are going in the right direction and the information I'm putting out is as accurate as possible. So back in the day when I studied psychology minimally, it was my one of my minors in college. I enjoyed learning about things, but I didn't really learn about these different personality disorders, of which there are many. And they are all divided because there's so many, and they have like certain characteristics of each grouping. They put the different personality disorders in clusters. And cluster B is a cluster. Oh, let me not cuss. You get the idea. It's a mess. Cluster B is a mess. I mean, it's not fun to have any personality disorder, but cluster B is very disorganized and can cause such chaos into human existence. So it's important, I think, to break these traits down and to understand where this information does come from the DSM-5, which when I started years ago, it was the DSM-3, the Diagnostic Statistic of Manual of, mental disorders and psychiatric conditions. It was the DSM-3. Oh my God, I'm getting old. But the DSM-5 has been updated over the years. Things have changed. There's always new research. There's always new things coming out. And I'm sure 20 years from now, there's going to be other information that comes to light that changes to maybe the DSM-6. They're probably working on it right now. So underneath, as you dip down even more detailed into the categories of narcissists, the overts and the coverts, there's still way much more information that can be used to describe these people. I use the term loosely sometimes. It's hard, However, the malignant narcissist is considered probably the worst one that you can encounter. Now, people disagree with this because all narcissistic abuse is, of course, difficult, but Some people would argue that the malignant narcissist is the worst because that category gives you the sociopath, the psychopath, the ones that really have no conscience and absolutely zero empathy, can, you know, like do things, can kill animals without a second thought, can do things, you know, to harm others without thinking that they did anything wrong. Then there's these fragile type of narcissists. They can mimic almost empathy, mimic sensitivity. They almost really are, I would say they're very good actors. And oftentimes they're the types that can be so sweet and sensitive to your face and will rub you behind your back and will cheat on you in the next room. I mean, like, you would never, they're the people that you would least suspect of being, you know, some kind of negative influence. And then when it all comes out, all the pieces start coming together and you go, oh boy. I had a roommate that was similar to this, that brought me flowers and that different things. And it was very unnerving because I picked up on it fairly quickly and knew that she was really up to kind of no good behind my back, right? So it's spooky to be around these kinds of people, very much. And remember, there's so many different ways you can describe narcissists, and I will link a couple of articles and some things that were very helpful to me in the description so that you can do some reading and research on your own. And because just even by just saying, okay, these little traits, okay, well, sneaky, just because a person is sneaky doesn't make them a narcissist. However, covert narcissists are extremely sneaky. So it's, you know, it's a battle. We're not, again, not diagnosing. However, it's important for us to understand people's behavior so that we always, my whole key is so that we can do self-protection. So there are different ways that narcissists present themselves, covert and overt. And these two words used to confuse me. What are you talking about, a covert? Like, it made no sense to me. It's like understanding narcissism brings a whole new vocabulary into our worlds. And I consider myself fairly educated, got multiple degrees, but I managed to get past this topic without knowing a darn thing about it until I was smacked in the face with it. And then I was forced to learn about it. So anyway, that's a side, going off track. But covert, I would look at covert narcissists, whether they are of the malignant type or any other type, the vulnerable type, whatever type they are, they have covert ways of presenting themselves, which is sneaky, underhanded, passive aggressive. I recently ran up to with one of those in my workplace. Just people that will backstab you to death and might present a very different image to your face, you know, and they can be very scary. But now then, they're not more scary than the covert, the overt narcissist. Just think, when I think of the word overt, I think of overly doing something, just going overboard, right? And that's the way a overt narcissist would present themselves, like someone who's constantly charming or constantly saying how important they are, convincing you of these things. And you can see it a lot in politicians. You can see it a lot in people in the entertainment business, a lot of overt narcissism comes out in these types of behaviors where they brag a lot. And they outright tell you, hey, I'm going to mess with you. And they don't seem to give a crap. You know, they don't care, it seems, if people recognize their narcissism. And either one, of course, can be equally dangerous. But when you learn to pick up the signs, it's a lot easier for you. And don't forget, you know, a person can be outgoing, can be flamboyant, can be a little bit of a braggart or you know, entertaining and so on, but that does not mean that they are narcissistic. It's very subtle. And once you've been around a narcissist and have identified them, it seems to be a lot easier to see it. Here you have it again, a few more signs. And whether they are overt or covert, they can do it in their overt ways. Like if they do lie and cheat, they do it either overtly or covertly, right? And if they do put you down, they're doing it either very subtly, or they're doing it outright and they don't even worry about doing it, right? So it's important to know that the traits and the signs are very similar, but they may be presented in different ways. You know, they can be blasting all over things, or they can be doing it very quietly behind your back. So this last slide will probably be a little bit of a story time. I'll try to make it as brief as possible. This is my picture, my poem, my creation. And I can laugh now, but at the time, listen, it was not funny. It involved the courtroom. It involved restraining orders. I mean, it was not fun at the end of this relationship. But towards the end of the relationship, things were getting kind of weird. And my ex-narcissist would start to make excuses for not seeing me during the week and so on. But yet he would get to go across the street. He lived across from a beach, and he would go across the street and start taking me taking pictures of the sunset and sending them to me in a way to try to keep me hanging on and saying, oh, you know, the crap of saying, I wish you were here by the sunset with me and all that crap, right? So anyway, he had this unique, if you look here, that's one thing, like the poem says, I learned this skill from him. If you want a good sunset picture, get behind a bush and take it and look how cute it comes out, right? Well, he was like a one-trick pony, and this is the only kind of picture he would send me. Come to find out, he was going to the beach with another woman. Now, she might have been taking the picture. I suspect she was, because he just did not have a talented bone in his body. So I suspect he got this picture from someone else. And anyway, he would send me these pictures, and I'd think, oh, how warm and fuzzy. You know, he's trying to be empathetic. He's trying to be all cute. You know, he's trying to tell me cares, all that crap. And being from the darn north, I got sucked in by the damn sunset and the beach and the sand beneath my toes and the seashells. Oh my God, I laugh now, but it was not funny at the time. I took it pretty serious. And he used these factors that I had no clue about, all these things, that these were like common things here in Florida. But to me, they were fascinating because I'd never seen them before. And anyway, so he started sending me these pictures. Somehow, I have no idea to this day how it happened, but I was looking down his timeline for something, and I wasn't one to really hover around his Facebook page. I wasn't like that. It wasn't just whatever. But for some reason, I was there, and I scrolled down, and I started seeing these pictures, the same ones he had sent to me. I clicked on the link and was on this woman's page, And all the way down the page were pictures of his apartment, of walks we'd gone on, the beach trips we'd gone on, these crazy, crazy pictures, excuse me, that were personal, or what I thought were personal to me. And so I confront him about it, and his reaction was, "Oh my God, I've been hacked." Now, that made no sense, considering the fact that why, if someone's going to hack you, they're going to hack you, try to get your money. They're not hacking you for damn beach pictures. Like, that made absolutely no sense. So, of course, I was really getting suspicious at this point. And I definitely had reason. Well, I'm not even going to go into all that ugliness. But it just showed me how lack of soul that a person had. Like, what kind of a person can do something like that? And there's much more to the story. I mean, there were even pictures a week later. We were still in court proceedings when we found someone else. I wasn't looking at his social media at that time because I blocked him immediately. But someone showed me a picture of him with his new relationship. And they were on the beach in the exact same place, exact same, looked like time of day, exact same facial expression, exact same pose. It was the creepiest thing I had ever seen in my life. So I think it just showed me how deeply that narcissists can mimic and are actors, and they go to the next relationship and reenact the old one. I mean, even to this day, you probably hear my voice, I still can't, like, it's beyond my understanding of how creepy that is. To me, it represents a person that has just nothing inside. They have absolutely nothing. And they have to go reenact what they thought. Well, I went on the beach in this place with my last person that I manipulated, so I should do it again. And it obviously works, right? Mimicking and acting works for them. But anyway, let us come to the end of this tale and remember the different behaviors and the different situations that can present onto you when you're involved with a narcissist. So that if you have situations come up, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Believe me, your gut doesn't lie. All right, so we will sign off here because I can talk all night, apparently. Apparently, it never ends. I have so many stories to tell. So I'll talk to you real soon.